I made a huge prepping mistake, and I just wanted to warn you guys so that you know not to do this very thing. So as we were leaving Portland, Maine, the plane was completely full and they asked to check bags, and Mike's like, oh, I want to check the bags, I don't want to have to deal with them. I'm like, that's fine. Because I was so tired, because we were just chomping at the bit to get out of Portland, Maine. I'm sorry, that place is a toilet. But I was not thinking, I was tired, and he checked our bags, which was great, except that we ended up sitting 2.5 hours on the tarmac and almost ended up staying in Portland, Maine overnight, and then almost having to stay in Denver overnight. Well, we maybe could have rented a car in Denver if we would have gotten there, but and just driven home then. But it was late at night, you know how that is. Here's the thing, all my medications, all my clothes, everything was in that checked bag. I know, beyond stupid. I get it. I was tired. But guys, when you go to fly, make sure it's absolutely imperative that you have all your medication and at least one change of clothes with you on the plane. Make sure you have at least that. We got on the plane completely full with 5 crying babies. This one mother, two rows behind us, I felt so bad for her. We sat on the tarmac for 2.5 hours. Our flight was 3.5 hours. And this poor mother literally rocked her baby for 5 hours. This 4-month-old was crying for 5 hours. I felt so bad for her. I just can't imagine how exhausted she was. But anyway, they literally had to jump start the plane. The pilot was like, we can't get the plane started. It was so ridiculously hot. It was probably 85, 90 degrees in there. These poor babies were dressed in warm clothes because they came from Maine where it was chilly. And I was just like, please strip those babies. I mean, the poor babies were just beet red. I feel so bad for them. Okay. And then leaves are falling off this tree and it sounds like somebody's walking back there. So we were sitting all crammed into this little plane for 2.5 hours. They had to jump start the plane. We get on the tarmac again and he's like, our navigation isn't working and that's kind of important. You think? Yeah, it might be kind of important. So we turn around, they have to redo the navigation, get going, get back on the tarmac. We are sitting on the tarmac another hour for him to do paperwork. It was ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. So 90% of the people on our flight missed their connecting flights. Thankfully, we had a 3-hour layover in Denver and we didn't miss ours. But guys, I could have been stuck overnight without my medication, no clothes, nothing. You need to make sure you have all of that stuff with you. I did have water and food, but oh my goodness, United is awful. It's absolutely awful. If it wasn't the only flight out of here in Sheridan, probably would not be taking it. So I think the whole DEI thing that they're doing is just completely collapsing their company. It's awful. But anyway, okay, so then on a fire update. As you can see, those are blue skies here in Wyoming. Yay, we have blue skies in Wyoming. We've maybe had blue skies maybe 30 or 40 days this whole summer because we've just had fire after fire. Yes, that is moisture falling from the sky. Oh my goodness, we are so excited. It probably won't put the fires totally out, but it will certainly help a lot. The fires are not out. They are not out. But yesterday we got an inch of rain down here, and they got what's the equivalent of an inch of rain in the mountains in snow. So we got snow up there. Now, that helped suppress the fires, but it did not put them out. Guys, it takes a lot of moisture to put out fires. So the fires will probably not be out until we get a really, really good snowstorm in November. But we are able to breathe again. Thankfully, I don't think anybody has died in this, and I only think a couple of houses have actually been hurt. Now, I had some people saying, "Oh, Tara, you left your underage children and went on vacation?" I have my older son visiting, who's closer to 30 than 20. And then I have my next oldest son, who's in his early 20s. And then I have my 15-year-old. All three boys were here. They were perfectly fine. They are very capable young men. They were watching for embers, watching for sparks. They had everything ready to go if we needed to. I felt that my older two would take care of my younger one perfectly fine. I had no questions that they would take care of him. So, since there was literally nothing we could do but just sit, we decided to, yes, go ahead and take our trip. Now, the other thing, people are still disturbed. People are still disturbed by my whole dumping 60 gallons of water down the drain. Listen, when you are living frugally, every single thing you do does not have to be saving money. If you're to the point where you are so obsessed with saving money that you can't take care of your needs and you can't enjoy life a little bit, then you have a problem that you need to get help with. You see this sock here? This is a holy sock of Mike's. If I was ultra frugal, I would save this sock as a rag. I'm not going to. Do you know why? Because I have a whole collection of rags and I don't need any more rags. So, would that be the ultra frugal thing to do to save this sock? Yes, it would be. But do I need to save this sock? No, I don't. Someone was questioning. You say you threw $1.67 of water down the drain, but on my other channel, I have a super easy recipes on my other channel. I'll link it in the description below, where I do cooking videos, and I showed how if you use a zip top bag, it's 2 or 3 cents, but if you do a fold top bag, it's only a penny. And she's like, you're worrying about pennies over here, but you're not worrying about $1.67 and just dumping water down the drain. Yes, because when I was pouring the $1.67 of water down the drain, I was tired, Mike was tired, the boys were tired. We'd had a huge day of projects that we were trying to get done before we left. And then we had to go and refill all our water. It wasn't worth the hassle or the headache or even possible injury at night hauling 5-gallon jugs of water up the stairs. You have to use your brain a little bit. Yes, try to be as frugal as possible, but use some common sense. And guys, when you're watching YouTubers, yes, when you watch people like us, we're going to be hypocrites and contradict ourselves a lot of times, but you don't always see the entire picture of what's happening in our lives. We don't show you guys our entire lives for this very reason. First of all, our entire lives are none of your darn tootin' business. Even if we are a public figure, it doesn't mean that you have the right to have access to every little single thing that's going on in our life. Secondly, that's why people like us don't share every single thing, because they nitpick and they don't even know everything that's going on. You can't possibly show everything that's going on in your life. So, no, I am not 100% frugal all the time. I try to be as frugal as possible and try to enjoy life as much as we can doing that, but you have to have a little bit of balance with this stuff, guys. Thank you for watching our video. We are going to give you our Dining on a Dime cookbook ebook volume number 1 free at livingonadime.com. Click on our shop, click on our ebooks, click on Dining on a Dime volume 1, add it to your cart. When you go to checkout, use the coupon code DINING1 and you will get our ebook absolutely free with no obligation and no strings attached. Visit us at livingonadime.com. So I thought I'd change so you can see the other tree. The other thing is the mines here in Wyoming. So there's a big conspiracy theory going around that all these fires were let go because they found valuable minerals here. I think it was lithium. I can't remember what it was. But anyway, valuable minerals here. And they're getting ready to open a mine. And so that's why they let the fire go. So then, I don't know, the government could take over or something. I don't know. As far as I can tell, I'm not totally positive, so if someone knows better, go ahead and comment, because I don't know for sure. But as far as I can tell, the mines aren't even near where the fire was. So even though that's a great conspiracy theory, and believe me guys, I know some of these conspiracy theories are coming true, so I'm not like just totally anti-listening to some of this stuff. But as far as I know, this mine is in the southern part of the state, and it's not up here by us, as far as I know. And if it was by us, I don't think it would be by the fire from the stuff that I've read. So I don't think that that's a thing. The other thing is, yes, we have been declared a disaster area. Mike has been working at the library, and the Forest Service and all the fire marshals and everybody have been meeting at the library. So he's been talking to them, and they've been talking to the librarians and stuff. And they said it's going to be a long time before the fire's put out. They said that it is a disaster area. A lot of ranchers have lost a lot of land, and it's going to be a rough winter for them to get all this through. And they normally have to feed their animals through the winter anyway, but this just kind of put the icing on the cake. So there is going to be some stuff that we're going to have to be dealing with here in Wyoming. Also next spring, now that there's no trees and no grass holding in the earth, we will more than likely have floods. So we're gonna have to brace ourselves for flooding next year. And this is just the way it goes. Guys, you literally cannot prepare for every single thing that could happen. You just really can't. You have to decide that you're gonna do the best that you can with what you have, and then the rest is just in the hands of God. I mean, do what you can. Be okay with not being able to prepare for every single thing, but be okay when things really just go bad and there's just nothing you can do. You're just gonna have to mourn it, accept it, and move on. And so I can't imagine how those poor people in North Carolina are feeling. I mean, it's just awful. It's about as bad as it could get with you surviving. And so those people are literally having to start over. They have no money. This is why you're frugal with your finances. This is why you have a savings account. A lot of these people had no flood insurance. FEMA may not buy their houses from them. So they're literally going to have to start all over again. I feel bad for them. But this is why we teach being responsible with your money, so that when these situations happen, you're just not up a creek, no pun intended. So it's personal responsibility and taking care of yourself and taking care of your family first. That's what you have to do. Also, I find it funny that along this line, one lady said, well, Tara, you're complaining about the homelessness, but what are you going to do about it? What am I going to do about it? I'm going to lecture these people to get their act together. It's not my responsibility to give you a home. It's your responsibility to get a home, your responsibility to get a job. And don't give me this baloney that the economy is so bad that you can't get a job, you can't pay your bills, and all this. That is a bunch of baloney. Yes, everything has gone up about 20%, because that is the way people voted in 2020. Yes, Portland, Maine, and Burlington, Vermont are toilets. Why? Because that's how those places have voted. They have put those things in place so that they are defunding the police. They are allowing this homelessness. They are allowing this drug trafficking. They are allowing this graffiti all over. They are allowing these things to happen. And I think it's so funny that Peter, oh shoot, I can't remember his name. The day we were leaving from Portland, Peter, oh, it starts with an S. I'll leave the link in the description below, but he's a really big YouTuber, and he did a video on his hometown, Burlington, Vermont, and what a toilet it's been. And this lady in there was talking about how all this homelessness and everything, and all this drug trafficking and everything in Burlington, Vermont started on January 6th and with George Floyd. Seriously? You are blaming your city's toilet on Trump and George Floyd. See, this is the problem. People are not taking responsibility for their actions. They're not accepting the consequences of how they voted. And so this is what happens when these things happen. And yet they are still blaming someone who's not even in office. It is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But here's the thing. The Bible talks about how in the end times people are going to be deceived and they aren't going to see these things or understand these things. We are seeing perfect examples of this all the time, especially with politics. You see this all the time. But as Christians, you know what? We do the best we can. We vote for the person that is going to put us in the right direction. If that person doesn't get into office, even if it's because of cheating, well, we just have to accept that and we just move on with our lives and do the best we can. That's all you've got to do. If you have a problem with that, just go in and read Daniel in the Bible. Daniel was in probably the most anti-Christian country that he could have been in, with the most anti-Christian government that he could have been in. They literally set him up and threw him in with lions to be eaten because they were so anti-Christian. And yet, God saved him. So Christians need to stop thinking that we're going to save the world by our voting and all of this. Yes, it helps. Yes, we need to get out there and vote. Especially if you're not voting, you need to get out there and vote. But God is in control. He's the one that puts all the leaders in place. He does it for a reason. He has his reasons, and we don't know what they are. So just accept it, do what you can, and be okay with it. Guys, thank you so much for your prayers. We really, really appreciate it. It was really touch and go here in Wyoming for a while. My boys did a great job holding down the fort. So we are going to get on to more prepping videos for you to help you get ready for emergencies.